On today's episode, we talk Disney World attractions March Madness style. Welcome to the 19th episode of the Mouseka Bros podcast. Hi, I'm Ryan.
And I'm his brother Randy. Be sure to like us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram at the Mouseka Bros. We will be releasing new episodes every Friday, so make sure you subscribe to get the latest podcast. If you have any suggestions for upcoming shows or just want to say hi, you can email us at mousecabrospodcast@gmail.com.
If you're planning your next Disney World, Disneyland, Disney Cruise Line, or Universal Orlando vacation, you're going to want to reach out to me, Ryan Noppinger, with Capture the Magic Vacations. You can reach me at ryan.noppinger@ctmvagent.com. This is a no-cost to you service to use me as your travel agent. I'll make sure you get the best vacation package or deal for your whole family. I can also help make planned dining reservations and plan fast passes to make planning your Disney vacation less stressful and more magical.
On today's episode, we cover the quarterfinals, semifinals, and finals, bringing our final 8 down to the champion and bringing a close to this year's March Madness. If you haven't already, please check out the 3 episodes prior to this and the special rules episode, because it might be a little confusing. There's going to be a lot of spoilers here for winners.
Don't listen to this one first.
Yeah, that would not be good. So here we are, Ryan. Last one.
Yeah, this is it. I know we ran over last time, but a lot of good conversations on the last episode we talked about and only getting those teams. So we have a lot of ground to cover.
Yeah, it's going to be a long one.
A lot of bracket to cover.
Strap in.
It's going to be a bumpy ride. Anyway, so first matchup.
Yeah.
All right. So it's Soaring Around the World up against Splash Mountain.
Interesting matchup. Very, I don't know.
I know.
Yeah,
all these, all these matchups are going to be close to neck and neck. I mean, they are the final 8.
Yeah, like every matchup, a good ride will lose.
Yeah.
And that's just the case now. That's just how it is.
We got to pick one of them.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing of why we're doing this, to get to one. Splash. The thing always with me, at least, is Splash Mountain. Like, I feel like even though they say, like, oh, yeah, you won't get that wet, or every time I feel like you go on Splash Mountain, you just get soaked. Like, and then your shoes are wet, and you need to dry yourself off. I don't know.
Actually, doing some research, because we tried for this episode. If you read the research, which I know you didn't, fun fact, when Splash Mountain first opened, the executives complained that they were getting too wet rather than just lightly soaked. I guess that because they're different terms, I guess. But they actually had to redesign the boat to make it so that you wouldn't get as wet. So,
well, you still get wet.
You still get wet, but you don't get drenched or soaked. I mean, I don't know.
Depends on where you sit and who you are.
Yeah, I know.
Bad luck. I don't know. It's just one of those rides where either for me, if it's not like sunny and hot, if it's cold or at night and there's no sun to dry you, it takes forever, and then you're just walking around the rest of the day miserable.
Yeah, I mean, definitely to that point is that, like, when everyone thinks of Florida, they always think of this, like, swamp, hot, moisture, disgusting humidity. But really, in January and stuff, during the wintertime, yeah, it's not cold, but it's not hot out. To the park, you could wear a light jacket and jeans to the park and be comfortable. I mean, there's also days in Christmas and like winter season that you can wear shorts and a t-shirt and be comfortable.
Yeah, at least for us.
Right.
Northern.
Yeah.
60 is freezing to people in Florida, apparently. But I forgot. I lost my train of thought. But
wet and cold.
Basically, yeah. And that's what it was. In January and those colder months, quote, colder months for Florida, the ride is usually in a lengthy refurbishment for, if not 2 weeks, if not longer than a whole month or so. Soaring Around the World, you don't really hear that much of a refurbishment. The only time I guess the most significant one was when they just changed to Soaring Over California to Soaring Around the World. Right. You know, yeah, that took some film change. They brought in a new USB drive
right.
and said, "Here, plug this one in. Let's give this a whirl." Yeah,
see what happens.
I guess that's what's kind of cool is that, you know, with that ride, with that experience, it's so much easier to change. And I guess the maintenance, I mean, I'm not a maintenance person, but I would imagine the maintenance on Soaring Around the World is a little bit more cheaper.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Than Splash Mountain, of course, because you have to paint basically all of Splash Mountain.
Soaring Around the World doesn't have 68 attractions.
What? 68 attractions?
I mean, what?
Audio animatronics?
Oh my gosh, I said that was
Did you read the research?
I was so proud with the statement, too.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
Did you read?
68 animatronics. Wow, that's embarrassing. So obviously, the maintenance to it is going to be way more.
Yeah, no, totally. For me, Splash Mountain, yes, it is a log flume ride. And what Disney does better than other theme parks is they have a story around it. But then on the backside of that, the story now to it, you can't even go and watch the movie because it's banned.
Yeah,
so
true.
If, you know, it'll be interesting. I mean, I feel like they should come out with a new movie. Maybe to give it new life.
Yeah.
To give it, like, what...
Would it be the same IP or...
Yeah, you know, I mean, or different? Just keep it, but, you know, I guess retheme it. I mean, the movie would probably be a flop, but at least you have more of a story to build on rather than, oh, yeah, oh, Mom, what story is this from? What movie is this in? I don't know Brer Bear and Brer Rabbit and all the Bears. I don't know. And then you have to explain, well, it was an old movie and now it's banned. Well, why is it banned? And that's anyway. Yeah, for me, I mean, Splash Mountain, yes, it is an iconic ride to Disney, but to me, it loses that story aspect, which Story Around the World then picks it back up because not only now did you not go over California, which was, yeah, cool and neat, but... You go around the world.
Okay, but
that's the whole point of Epcot.
But no, because what story is there? It's a simulation ride where you're flying around the world. That's the story. So it's easy to sell and easy to say, oh yeah, this story is great and all, because we know the world. We see it every day. We don't watch the movie because it's banned. When's the
last time you've been to Paris?
I go almost every other weekend. No, I agree.
Well, you have been to the Sydney Harbor, so I can't say that.
Yeah, so I have been. Boom.
When's the last time you've been to Epcot? No. But like, it takes you places necessarily that you're not going to see, like the Taj Mahal or the Great Pyramids, the Great Wall of China.
And you're saying that the largest audio animatronic that is a boat that rocks and has a bunch of singing birds, you see that every day too.
No,
but it's the same point.
But to me, it comes down to the storytelling behind it all. Even though, yes, storytelling, yes, you're flying over countries, but you can relate that more because you can fly over all these other countries and then go experience some of them in Epcot.
You can relate. Oh wow, I don't agree with you at all. You can't relate that. Okay, yeah, with Epcot, yes, you can relate it, but that's the only other time you can relate it. For me, it comes down to the nostalgia aspect and the memories it brings. Soaring Around the World. Sing it to me. Sing something from it. Sing the tune. You don't know. Right, exactly. Sing me a tune from Splash Mountain.
That's Zippity-Doo-Dah.
Three songs pop into your head, I'm sure.
Zippity-Doo-Dah.
Zippity-Doo-Dah. How do you do? And then the Laugh and Play song. Okay, yeah. Two songs. And the Laugh and Place... Like, yeah, I can't think of that song. I want to sing Wizard of Oz for some reason. But it's the nostalgia aspect from Splash Mountain that no matter what you're doing, you hear Zippity-Doo-Dah, you hear How Do You Do somewhere else, it immediately brings you back. I don't see
the great on the radio.
No. I love all the time. I don't see the Great Wall of China and be like, Epcot, of course. I mean, I've never seen the Great Wall of China, so it's not the greatest argument. But it's the nostalgia and memories for me. That's why Splash Mountain wins this round for me, this matchup.
Okay, I'm just sad to see Soaring Around the World. I mean, like we've said the whole time that yes, one of them has to come
and
to a loss.
Right. And I want to be clear. This isn't me bashing Soaring Around the World. Soaring Around the World is a fantastic ride. It is absolutely great ride, and what they have done with that experience is unbelievable. Because I mean, you have the smells, the air in your face, the way you move with the screen. It's unbelievable. Anything, there's nothing like it. But for this particular matchup, Splash Mountain wins for me.
Okay, I'm caving in. I'm gonna pair with you on Splash Mountain.
It's a good point,
mainly
right?
Because it's in Magic Kingdom and all the things you said. Again, I'm just sad to see Soaring Around the World.
Absolutely.
Go.
Absolutely.
Splash Mountain, I guess for me, yes, a log flume ride that has a huge drop, what has really three major ones, but like the little ones.
52.5 foot drop. I did a lot of research. Should be proud.
Wow.
52.5 feet.
Mom and Dad would be so proud.
Probably not. They're not.
We're still waiting for that day for our parents to tell us, we're proud of you. Anyway, hey, Mom, we started a Disney podcast. Cool.
Who's paying for it?
Yeah.
That's what it was.
That's the question. No, I just wish there was more of a story element with Splash.
I completely understand.
That's not there.
I completely understand that, and I think that I think they should remake the movie, because I know I haven't seen the movie.
Yeah, I've never.
Right, so I completely understand your point, but Soaring Around the World doesn't have a story. You're flying around the world. They put iconic structures from around the world and put them together in a movie.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, just put it on the board,
right,
okay?
All right, so
before I
Splash Mountain
start to
wins.
cry.
I'm already crying.
Just because you're happy about Splash moving on. I know. All right, well, next matchup, towards the bottom left-hand side of the bracket, is Tomorrowland Transit Authority People Mover, that we will just call People Mover.
And we will forget.
And we will forget. And we'll try to read the whole name. Up against the American Adventure. Again, two really good.
Iconic.
Yeah.
Two iconic, right?
Came with
Excuse
the
me.
came.
Oh no.
Off the mic. Two really good. People Mover. We've said it. It's an iconic original attraction, even though the name has changed. Some of the sponsorship, of course, has changed. What?
But
Talk to me.
it is the lone attraction in Magic Kingdom that still has a sponsor.
Wow.
Research.
Your research is
It's just it's unbelievable, because now we're being proper and stuff, and people are gonna and take the conversation to Facebook.
all of them.
Yeah,
all three of them, including Mom. Thanks, Mom.
And sponsor is Alamo Rent-A-Car. Even though it's not mentioned anywhere, there is still signs at the beginning and end of the queue that have the name on it.
Wow. I couldn't even tell you the last time I've rented from Alamo Rent-A-Car.
I don't even know what they
They're
are.
still keeping strong. It's their loan budget.
Yeah, that's right.
Their marketing. The American Adventure. I mean, we have history with the American Adventure, getting the
Because we're
backstage
American.
magic.
Oh,
Okay, getting the backstage magic tour. You get to see the whole operating mechanism of it all, and it's cool because usually when you go and look at it, they are testing it before they open it up for the day. Which again we saw. So it was like the show was running, but we were backstage looking at all the audio animatronics and
seeing how the whole thing works.
Majigger thing. I don't know. Anyway, it was pretty cool. To me, for this one, I think the American Adventure, yes, great show, but it is a show. Right? So you're looking at me like, oh, You wait, I did research.
Yeah, you wait. I'm going to slap you down with all of the 84 attractions on it.
Yeah.
That was a joke. It wasn't good.
But the People Mover, iconic. You know, it doesn't put you to sleep. Well, maybe. Depends. You can see a lot of different things. And it's all stuff we've said, 100 times. You get to go through Space Mountain and all that other stuff. And now
shows you the EPCOT model, which is Epcot. Wow.
Yeah, I didn't.
What's it stand for, Ryan?
Experimental Prototype Community of Tomorrow.
That's wrong. It doesn't stand for anything now. It's just Epcot.
I know. They used to say every paycheck comes on Thursday. For Epcot is what.
Well, that's weird because you got paid on Wednesday. No, I don't know.
No, I have not. There's another one too. It's every parent comes out Thursday. I can't remember.
Oh wow.
Tired?
Yeah.
Or I think every parent comes out tired.
Wow, that's a funny one.
Out tired. Yeah. It's stuff you learn when you work for Disney.
Right. All right, maybe back to March Madness.
Yeah, for me, I think People Mover is going to win with this one unless you swayed me with your American Adventure research, unless you agree with me.
I don't know. I've struggled with this matchup. The American Adventure, it's the technology for the show is just unbelievable. The animatronics on it, in the very beginning with Benjamin Franklin, how he walks up the stairs. Like that was technology that they didn't have and they had to create. So it has history. I mean, it's a show about history. And then their whole speaker system. Normally with a show like this, you have the sound come through the theater speakers. But Disney didn't want to do that because, if you're sitting far away and you hear it from the theater speakers, it might not actually match up with his mouth. So what they did is they started hiding speakers in the audio animatronics and on the set themselves. Like I think it's like the fireplace is an actual speaker. So when he talks, it looks like the audio, I don't know how you look at audio. It sounds like the audio is actually coming from him. So that's new technology that they had to come up with, which is just amazing. And
in the same point, though, People Mover is technology that Disney, that whole team, the Wedway team, came up with. Wed Enterprises.
Right. But it was supposed to be the future. It was supposed to be how it was supposed to move people.
Yeah, it was supposed to move people through Walt Disney's community that he was going to build, which was his future for Epcot.
Right. But
didn't turn out the way.
But I mean, how do you call it the Tomorrowland Transit Authority People Mover when Tomorrowland itself is outdated? The technology of the People Mover is outdated. The People Mover is outdated.
So moving stuff by electricity is outdated, even though I can go buy a Tesla for $90,000 is outdated.
No, but but I guess how it looks is outdated. How it feels is outdated. The roughness of it is outdated.
Yeah, I don't know how they would fix that. Maybe
redo it.
New cars. I don't know.
New tracks. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know where you go unless shut it completely down and had it go through Tron and.
Well, I mean, Tomorrowland anyway needs an update. That's a completely different episode. Comment on Facebook if you want to have an episode like that.
Yeah.
But Tomorrowland itself is just bad.
Where they can improve this attraction, I will say, is those indoor scenes. It seems like there's a lot of cases or old cases that kind of just have like a black cloth over them, so you can't view through them anymore. Like, update the inside. Like, even though the whole diorama of Epcot, what it was going to be in Walt's vision, is there, and yes, that's very cool to see because you're riding the thing that Walt was going to use in his community. But some of the other scenes, like, even though yes, it's cool you can view Buzz Lightyear and you can view Mickey Star Traders, but again, there are only windows that the attraction passed by anyway.
Right.
So why not? You know,
Right.
where it can pick up is more of that nostalgia, maybe factor of it, you know, of Tomorrowland and of the future.
Right, like who needs to see some woman getting her hair done? Right, who needs to see the alien blasting off or whatever? Like,
Yeah.
Is that supposed to add to the story? Is that something that's completely separate? You know, is this what the future was supposed to be? I don't know. Yeah. I will say that the People Mover does have probably the most iconic line in any Disney attraction. And that's paging Mr. Morrow, Mr. Tom Morrow. That is it's a cool line because it's tomorrow.
Oh gosh! You know,
I didn't make it up. I didn't.
No, I know. I'm trying to remember the fact because that is a real person. It's oh gosh! You see, this is why I should have done some research.
I did the research
on this. I'm going to get this completely and utterly wrong.
Maybe don't say it then.
Before Alien Encounter, there was another attraction. Don't ask me the name of it, but the
Mission to Mars.
Yeah, so the whole purpose of that was to take you to another planet. Now, like Houston, like the main guy, was... Somebody tell me if I'm wrong, even though nobody's going to tell me because...
Yeah, you're the only one who knows this fact.
That controller guy was Mr. Tom Morrow. So...
It's kind of like a throwback.
A homage to that. It's not homage. Is it homage? Homage?
No, it's definitely homage.
My wife will tell me when she listens to the podcast.
Like, you idiot, you don't even know English. That was a terrible impression, sorry.
Yeah, no, that sounds nothing.
I know, her voice is much deeper. All right.
Back to the matchup, okay? Because you have to pick one of them.
I don't...
Which one are you going?
I don't know.
I'm going to stick with People Mover. Because, so think about it. If I said, Randy, I have 2 tickets to paradise. That is Disney World. We can do one attraction, the People Mover or the American Adventure. Which one would you choose?
I would say you're completely insane. There has to be another attraction in this scenario. Okay, if it's that scenario, and we're just saying one time.
Yeah.
American Adventure.
What?
No. It's the song. It's the whole story. The song's in it.
What? But then you're in a theater. At least on the People Mover, you get to view, you know, the castle and the rest of Tomorrowland.
Are you a communist?
What?
Are you a communist? Do you not love America? Is that what you're saying?
I'm not saying that.
Ryan's not a communist.
Our podcast is now going to be shut down because I'm not choosing the American Adventure.
But yeah, I am choosing the American Adventure just because I like to listen to the soundtrack. It's the soundtrack for me.
It's because you need a nap. We would go and you would be like, oh,
I never nap. I never nap in that show. There's plenty of other shows to nap in.
There's other patriotic shows to nap in. Like the Hall of Presidents.
Yeah.
Anyway. So are we saying we're at a tie then?
We are at a tie.
Wow. Since we're at a tie, I have a feeling what it's going to be, but where is the People Mover? It's on the second sheet. Oh, maybe not. Maybe I kind of feel kind of happy about it.
All right, so we didn't say this, but we since it's like the finals, we're going to kind of talk out the sheets a little bit more, just as like why we vote it. So it automatically gets American. This is just for American Adventure. Automatically gets a 3 because it's in Epcot, and Epcot's worth 3 points. For rewritability and family oriented, they both got 3s for me. I mean, like I said, I love the show. I love the music. I can listen to the music. I can sit there and listen to the music. And then family oriented. I mean, who can't sit in a show? So that's why I got 3 points.
So for People Mover, because it's in Magic Kingdom, it gets a 4, which is even more surprisingly because you'll find out in a second why. So for rewritability for People Mover, I gave it a 2, and for family oriented, I said 3.
I also gave it a 2 for rewritability.
And then what about family oriented?
3.
A 3. Okay, so we matched up there.
Right.
And then American Adventure Rewritability, I said 2. And then Family Oriented, 2.
So then the official points for American Adventure is 8.
And People Mover is 9.
So there it is.
So,
there it is.
if you think about the matchup, it literally came down to the tiebreaker of being what park it was in.
Yeah, pretty much.
And, I mean, does that mean for me that I'd rather... Well, I guess maybe. I don't know. I really do enjoy and love Epcot. But having worked in Magic Kingdom, that always has a special place in my heart now. So, if I had to pick, if I had one day to go to one park, it was Epcot or Magic Kingdom, I'd pick Magic Kingdom.
Absolutely.
Hands down.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, we spent enough time on this matchup. It was like 15 minutes. Oh, God.
That's all good.
All right. Let's go to the next matchup. We got Haunted Mansion and Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. Both very iconic rides. There are rides that are almost found in every Disney park. In some form. It may not actually be called Big Thunder Mountain, or it might not actually be called Haunted Mansion. Like they have the Phantom Manor, but it's basically Haunted Mansion, just not. So it's they're two iconic rides just because you can find them everywhere. I don't know.
What are your first thoughts before you get into your fact sheet research?
Haunted Mansion is very iconic. I don't know. It's a ride that is scary, but also can bring laughs. When you get to that last section, the mirror section, and they either like swap faces or like tickle you or something. Like it was always funny. As a little kid, I was always scared. I'm not kidding. I'm still scared. No, but I was always scared after this ride. So I guess it served its purpose. But Big Thunder Mountain Railroad has that thrill aspect because of the turns, the dips, the drops, the hill climbs. So it's very... It has that thrill aspect, which I think makes it better than Haunted Mansion.
Yeah.
But I feel like the Haunted Mansion is more iconic. I mean, Big Thunder Mountain Railroad didn't have to open its own store for its own merchandise, but the Haunted Mansion did. So, I mean, that obviously means it's a great ride.
Yeah. It'd be interesting to, why Haunted Mansion? Why does that have, a quote, I'm going to say cult following, because, it's...
Yeah.
People that love that attraction. You can go and buy the wallpaper with, the bats...
The eyes.
Ghouls' eyes on it.
Yep.
It's interesting to me. Though I have bought merchandise for the Haunted Mansion, I have, the coasters with the tombstones on it.
Did you know there's actually, a whole story behind the tombstones? I mean... It's not surprising because Disney thinks of everything.
Yeah, they have a story.
But it's all about wealth and this person killed this person who then got revenge from this person. It was crazy. I was reading about it, but it was okay, we don't have enough time for that. I didn't put it on the
Haunted
research.
Mansion episode of research.
Of just killings.
But again, for me, I get it. Haunted Mansion, I don't know how many times in a row, I guess, can I ride the Haunted Mansion? Back to back, that's a little pushing it.
Yeah.
But twice in the same trip, okay. Big Thunder Mountain, can I get on it right after I rode it? Absolutely. And I think that comes down to being that it's a thrill roller coaster ride. And then twice in the same trip, that's definitely a no-brainer. So, 3 times.
Right. No, I agree with that same. But is that just because of the thrill aspect?
For me, at least in my head, that's what's winning it right now, is the thrill factor of the two. I know Haunted Mansion is iconic and has a very powerful following and is a great ride with a great story, but, both of these rides have carried into other parks. So, of course, that says something about both attractions, which is interesting.
What do you know which attraction is carried in the park more without looking at the sheets?
I would say Haunted Mansion.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's the only attraction that's in all 4 Disney parks or however many parks there is.
And then in, I can't remember if it's Hong Kong or Tokyo, but it's It's not necessary. It's not called the Haunted Mansion.
Phantom Manor.
Yes, because they can't have anything that is kind of possessed in a way. So it's more about the mythical side of things and magic, if that makes sense.
Right. But it's, I don't know.
Yeah, but it's still the same
thing.
Feel. They got the idea from Haunted Mansion to that. Yeah, totally.
I'm going with Haunted Mansion just because to me it's more iconic. I can quote things from the Haunted Mansion.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
but because it's all talking, right? You know, I can't. The only thing you can quote from Big Thunder Mountain is the right. Exactly. But you know, I can quote things from Haunted Mansion. I can, if I were to read each ride, right? Not actually ride them, but like read the rides, and just it explains what scene I'm in the rides. I can do that easier with Haunted Mansion than Big Thunder Mountain. You know, like if you say, "Oh, now you're in this room, then you're in this room, then you're in this room," but then you go to Big Thunder Mountain, and it's like, "Well, now you're at this turn, and then this turn, and then this drop." I can actually visualize what like everything I'm seeing in the Haunted Mansion. So for me, I'm going Haunted Mansion.
Yeah, I mean, I will say yes, the Haunted Mansion. You know, if you like this attraction, and you know you have connected with it. I'm trying to think of some like. If you've, oh gosh, I don't know.
Anyway, I can't read your thought right.
like spirits connected with the Haunted Mansion. Was that any better?
No.
Okay. Yes, you do have that kind of Omni mover. I feel like all the Omni movers kind of have that like throwback. Like I have history with it,
right?
Because it's been around since forever, and it's slow, and everybody can ride it. And I don't know. Again, I'm sad. You know, if potentially Big Thunder Mountain Railroad loses, because I do like the attraction. I like a roller coaster. You know, like for me, I'm trying to get over. I would rather ride a roller coaster than an Omni mover ride. Make sense?
I disagree. When talking about Disney, I disagree. If you're talking about like Universal or like Six Flags, well, yeah, they'll have like maybe an Omni mover and maybe a show, and it might be good. But like those other parks are, well, I mean, not Universal, but like Six Flags. But they're known for roller coasters. That's what they do, is roller coasters. So, but in Disney, it's all about being. You know, they always say you're on stage, right? And then when you're behind an attraction, you know, or like in the tunnels, or, you know, not on stage, you're off stage, because that's what it is. It's, you know, it's a stage. So that's why I go Haunted Mansion, just because I would rather see and be in a moment than going up and down a hill, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, they're both in Magic Kingdom, so for me, that's already a plus.
Right, that's already awesome.
Yeah. Jeez.
What about this? What line would you rather wait in? The interactive queue of Haunted Mansion or the somewhat interactive queue of Big Thunder Mountain?
I don't know. For the wait times, I guess, for both of these can vary a whole lot.
If both is an hour, does that do anything for you?
I mean, no. Honestly, it's cool that the Haunted Mansion queue is interactive, but I don't get any of the interactive stuff.
No, I mean, I understand. It's
cool to look at.
Right, but it helps you.
Cool to see somebody go press the book or
and
whatever.
Get scared.
But
it makes your wait feel not as long. That's all it really does.
Right.
I mean, yeah, but, you know, from the moment that you start waiting in line, you are put into the story. But really, that can go for both attractions, because they actually they bought real mining equipment to put outside in the queue for Big Thunder Mountain. Yeah, so as soon as you step foot in the queue, I mean, that's for any ride though.
Yeah. I mean, absolutely. That's for any ride that they sell. When Disney sells the story, they sell it, and not only sell it, but they put you into it.
Yeah.
What I guess comes down to, between scenery and looking at it, is the cast members. Cast members at the Haunted Mansion
get into it,
play the part.
Yeah,
they are the housekeepers, the butlers, the maids of the Haunted Mansion, and they keep up with it. Where Big Thunder is very much get in line, get in the roller
Yeah, like
coaster.
2 here, 2, like
Exactly.
2, 2, 1, 2.
Right.
Yeah, I'm sticking with my gut. I'm going Haunted Mansion.
All right, I'm gonna have to cave in and go with the foolish delight here of Haunted Mansion.
Thanks for saying the name, because I didn't know what your reference meant, so it wasn't funny. Someone probably laughed. I know I didn't. All right, moving to the next matchup, which is our last matchup of the quarterfinals. So exciting. Ooh, from the crowd. We have Spaceship Earth and Toy Story Mania.
Tough one for me. I really enjoy Spaceship Earth. And my competitiveness comes out on Toy Story Mania. Again, I think Spaceship Earth comes down to that nostalgic type omni-mover attraction that now is not only just... It's not any ordinary omni-mover attraction, and I say that because it's in an iconic thing. Sphere, for Walt Disney World, for the park itself.
It is actually known to be the world's first...
What's your research?
I don't know, something sphere. Geodesic sphere. Geodesic. Look at we science on this show. But it is actually not a geodesic sphere. It is an oblong. It's a little more oblong than a sphere shape. So it's interesting that it's the world's first geodesic sphere, but it's not actually completely sphere.
Reading on your research, did you know it took 26 months to build?
Yeah, I did, because I found the research. I did the research.
Did
you know that Toy Story Mania was the first attraction that Disney both created and designed simultaneously for both parks?
Simultaneously?
That's what I said.
Oh, you said it weird.
But it's interesting. In research, we're going to throw back to Haunted Mansion, because when they were making props for Haunted Mansion, they actually made 2 of them. One for Disneyland and one for the Magic Kingdom. But they didn't know what they were going to do with them at Magic Kingdom. They knew that the ride was going to be popular, so they made 2 of them just in case they did decide to put it in the Magic Kingdom. That's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, that was a good idea.
Right, but this is Toy Story Mania is the first time that they actually designed 2 attractions at the same time.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
My gut feeling is that one of them is going to move on, even though, again, like
really, you're saying one of them is going to move on, and one of them is going to lose. That's a strong gut feeling. I don't know.
Scientific.
I don't know about that. Right?
Approach to
they
that.
They might both go on. They might not.
Hypothesis.
We could just end the episode right here and be done. No winner.
No winner. No clear winner yet. Overall.
All right.
And it's funny. You look at the other 3. That have won Haunted Mansion, Splash Mountain, and the People Mover. It's all iconic.
It's all nostalgic.
Yes.
Yeah.
And right now it's...
Do you feel the same way for this?
It's all in the same park. Right now, the final 3 are on the same park, which is funny.
That is true.
But either way, another park is going to continue. It's either going to be Hollywood Studios with Toy Story Mania or Epcot with Spaceship Earth. Now... Toy Story Mania is so much fun. It's
definitely a ride that maybe not. No, I still maybe. That at rope drop. Well, no, you can't. Sorry. All right. It's a ride that at rope drop you run for to try to get the shortest line. It used to be a ride that you would run for to get the fast passes, because fast passes would be gone an hour into the park being open. Or you would get them and they'd be like at dinner time, and it's, only 30 minutes into the park opening.
Right. Yeah. I mean, to say that, yes, it absolutely is definitely popular. With Toy Story Land, yeah, maybe you might not be necessarily, well, you'll probably rope drop it, yes. But, that's because you didn't get the Slinky Dog fast enough.
Right.
Or...
Right.
Even Alien Swirling Saucer.
I know. You know what? But I disagree with you. I think in that land, Toy Story Mania is still the prime ride.
No, I'm not disagreeing with that. I definitely think that. Even had been on Slinky Dog Dash, I I still think the Toy Story Mania would win that matchup, at least for me. You know, even though, yes, it is a roller coaster, but overall, it's still the same ride. You know, Slinky Dog new, and it's already showing his age.
Right.
Funny enough.
Funny.
We are laughing. Yeah. Gosh. What's your gut feeling?
I'm going Spaceship Earth. Just because of the nostalgia, just because of the soundtrack. Just because I don't know. I don't have another reason, but I'm going Spaceship Earth.
No, that's my gut feeling. Absolutely, with that is that absolutely nostalgia part of it. Soundtrack, definitely have listened to it on my phone.
Right.
It's the attraction is in an icon. The Epcot ball.
And the attraction itself is an icon. It is.
Yes, yeah. Hand in hand, you know, one with each other.
I mean,
compared to all the other icons in the other parks, like the Chinese Theater was, yes, it was the great movie ride back when that was the icon, the Chinese Theater, and then it became the Sorcerer Mickey hat, which had a pin shop in it that they then took all of it down, and now doing the Chinese Theater kind of back again as the icon for the park.
The Chinese Theater wasn't the icon before the Sorcerer's hat.
Oh, well, the Eiffel Tower.
It was the Eiffel Tower.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, it was the Eiffel Tower.
Yeah. Well, I guess then, like, kind of like the center of
the park.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, if you think when you walk down.
Right, because you're walking down to something,
right,
and then
yeah.
something,
That's
and then
what,
the park, like, surrounds it. Or
because you can't really get close to the Eiffel Tower. Well, you can't get near it anymore.
Yeah,
it's not
that
there
statement
anymore.
is true.
But, yeah, and then Animal Kingdom, you know, the Tree of Life, a horrible 4D adventure.
I like it.
A horrific 4D.
I like it, but I understand why it's not. Why it lost, like, what, round 1 probably.
Yeah, at least.
All right.
No, yeah, definitely for me, Spaceship Earth.
Do we need to have
forward.
more? Yeah. Do we need to have more conversation on this?
No, again, I'm just sad the Toy Story Mania's, you know, losing. I thought I was going to see Toy Story Mania in the Final Four, but
I agree. I think, though, if you ask anybody who is a true Disney fanatic, I think they're picking Spaceship Earth before Toy Story Mania. I think that's just.
I don't know.
I think it's just fact.
I think it's a crapshoot. Like either way.
All right. So now we're down to our Final Four.
Final Four.
Wow. It's the semifinals.
As a recap, in the Final Four, we have Splash Mountain, Tomorrowland, Transit Authority People Mover that I said we're still going to just call People Mover, but I figured since we're in a new round now, it needed that, I guess. And then the Haunted Mansion up against Spaceship Earth. Wow.
I don't know. I know. I'm sweating. I don't know about you, but I'm sweating.
I'm going to need a towel or something. Cause
Becky, can we get a towel?
Becky.
Sorry, that was the last one. Deborah.
We fired. Yeah. So Splash Mountain up against the People Mover. I have, I guess, what your gut feeling is going to go with, just because you were so passionate about Splash Mountain up against Soaring Around the World. I feel like for me, you're going to say Splash Mountain.
I don't know. It's hard because let's bring up the point for People Mover that we've always brought up. It's a different ride day and night. You ride it during the day, you get one version when you're kind of looking at the people, looking at the surroundings. You ride it at night and you're looking at all of the lights, the castle lit up at night. But I think that point is true for Splash Mountain. Right? You do get a different ride if you ride it during the day, because you can kind of see more. You see out on the outside. Then when that big drop, you see the whole park. But then at night, you know, you're looking at all the lights. You're looking at everything lit up, especially at the last big drop. You see the castle. You see all of Magic Kingdom lit up. So it's definitely, they're both different rides that are day and night. So I think that point, I don't know if you agree with me, but I think that point should kind of be discounted. Like that's not a valid point anymore for this matchup.
No, I agree. If we go to the point sheet, we've already went over the People Mover because it was at a tie with the American Adventure and that had moved on. So the People Mover The points came out to 9. And we're not saying right now that they are in a tie. We're now just going to use this sheet to talk about it. Maybe it might bring up another point that we haven't talked about yet, even though we've talked about a lot of things with all of these attractions. But Splash Mountain overall came to a 9.
So that's wow.
Yeah, which, that's why they're both in the final four.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You're not going to see something that's like a value of 5.
Exactly. So Splash Mountain, what did you do for rewritability?
I give it a 3.
3, okay, and then family oriented?
Also a 3.
Okay, so I gave it a 2 and a 2.
You give it a 2 and a 2. Okay, so
yeah.
The rewritability is because during the summer, who doesn't love a good water ride? Especially that ride where you can kind of sing along and then you have the drops and it's fun. At winter, if you said this ride was a rewritability of 1 during the winter, you'd have no argument for me.
And that was my kind of train of thought of it. It is in the middle. Summer, yes, it has hour plus wait. Winter, walk on. If that.
Right.
People Mover.
It's a walk on all the time, though.
Yeah, it's pretty much always a walk on, unless it's one of the ridiculously crazy busy days like July 4th around Christmas.
But then what's the line? 5 minutes, maybe. No, I know. Okay, but you're using the extreme. No, you're saying on like New
on
Year's.
The extreme, yes. That's when Splash Mountain then is
a 2-hour wait, no matter what.
Exactly.
Yeah, no matter what season on the extreme days. Right. And I agree with that. But taking it not in the extreme days, People Mover is pretty much always a walk on.
And to say you never need a fast pass for it because there isn't.
They don't do fast passes. They don't do fast passes.
That's what I thought.
They might do fast passes. I'm not sure.
I have to look that up now.
But yeah, you would never in a million years use the People Mover for a fast pass. During the summer, you would absolutely use Splash Mountain as a fast pass. Yeah, I don't think anyone would disagree with that. Of course, unless Splash Mountain's like the first ride that you do, that at 9 a.m., that might not be the best thing because then, you might get wet and have to go change.
I don't think I would ever pick Splash Mountain as one of my first 3 fast passes.
No.
Weirdly enough.
No.
But again, we can't use that mentality for all of these attractions because, like, Flight of Passage would have won, or like Tower of Terror would have moved on because they're more of our 3 fast passes.
Right, but they're just longer waits in general.
Yeah.
Did you look up the People Mover fast pass?
I'm looking it up.
You're not doing great. Get Deborah on it.
I'm horrible at looking things up. If you could tell, because I did so much research for this podcast.
For me, it comes down to the wow factor. The wow factor in Splash Mountain is the drop, and then the very last scene where you have the boat, and everyone's singing the song, and everyone on the boat starts singing the songs because it's the easiest words that anybody can pick up. But on People Mover, there's really not a wow factor. There's not a moment on the ride that you say, "Oh wow, this is the best ride here."
Yeah, no, that's definite.
If you're agreeing with me, that's saying that there is no wow factor, then should that be in the final?
Yeah.
That there's not a moment that you're just like, what is going on? I mean, there's 4 drops in this that at some point you're at least going to go, what?
No.
And then at the end, all the songs, even not at the end, even in the beginning, like right after the first drop, when you go into the first building, they start singing the "How Do You Do." You immediately, if you know the words, you're immediately singing along. If you don't know the words, you're probably bobbing your head and looking all around, looking at all of the animatronics.
All right, I will side with you. Splash Mountain, let's move it on up.
All right, so Splash Mountain is in the final. Bum, bum, bum. I feel like she had some music there, but
Insert music. You can't. You dropped it.
It's fine. This one had 3, so.
So Splash Mountain, moving on. People moving back. I thought of it too. Both attractions actually have other attractions that go through them. Funny enough.
Yes, they do.
Because the Splash Mountain, the train goes through it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, the more you know. So moving on to the next semifinal match, Haunted Mansion up against Spaceship Earth.
Let me start off. I'm going to use the same mentality here. That is the wow factor. Now, Spaceship Earth, you might be kind of confused. Like, there's not really a wow factor. They're both omni-movers. If anything, Haunted Mansion would probably have a wow factor when you got to the dining room scene where they're all dancing, or even the graveyard with all the animatronics and everything, all the moving parts. Or even at the last part when you're at the mirrors and you have the hitchhiking ghost, right? 3 parts that could be the wow factor. But I think Spaceship Earth has that biggest wow factor. And it's not during a scene when you're going up. It's at the very top when your car is going through the Matrix or right after it, and your car turns a little bit and you just see the Earth with that soundtrack and the emotion from the soundtrack and having the Earth and it clicking all of a sudden in that ride. Like, oh, I understand why it's called Spaceship Earth, because our Earth is literally a spaceship that we need to take care of. It's just, you can put all of Epcot's message into that ride. Is that we need to know the history of every country, of everything, so we can take care of the present. Because once we start taking care of the present and living in the present, then we can live to the future. The message of Spaceship Earth is the wow factor, and seeing the Earth just float there with that soundtrack is that major wow factor.
Yeah, for me, it's that the attraction is in such an iconic thing for the park, an iconic sphere. It's not only the image of Epcot, but it's maybe not the second image that you would think of after the castle, maybe for Disney World even, for some people, at least for me. Haunted Mansion, even though, yes, has a huge following of people that love this attraction, it has a lot of history with it, a lot of dead history, some would say.
I mean, that was bad. That was a bad joke.
I loved it.
Yeah.
I loved it.
I mean, your punchline was a dead giveaway.
Now that we're making jokes about it, I'm like, oh, maybe it's Haunted Mansion.
Yeah, right. No, but I'm sticking with my gut. Spaceship Earth for me.
I know. Just looking at the point sheet.
Yeah, absolutely.
To just wrap my head around it. Spaceship Earth, for at least for me, rewritability 2, because it's an Epcot, I got a 3, and family oriented 3.
You gave rewritability for Spaceship Earth a 2.
Yeah.
Did you just hit 2 all the way down?
Maybe.
So I gave it a 3.
All the way across?
Yeah, because, well, I mean, of course, for
the middle one, yeah,
right,
because it's in Epcot.
I mean, rewritability, the family oriented, of anybody can do it. They literally will slow down the ride for somebody who's handicapped to get on the ride.
Yeah,
so literally anybody can do this ride. Rewritability, how many times have we tried to look for a fast pass and we're just like, you know what, Spaceship Earth has one that looks like the only one, let's do that. Or if we're walking out at night and there's no line and we're just like, you guys just want to do it one more time? It just has such rewritability. I mean, because of its location, it's easy to do when you're leaving, easy to do when you first get there.
Yeah, I will say as a hint for, or a hot tip, a hot tip for this is not to do this attraction right out of the gate, as soon as you get into the park, because that's everybody else's idea and goal is, oh, well, we have to walk by it. Well, we might as well do it now. Even though, yes, the line is always moving, it is a slow one, especially, when they do have to stop the ride or slow the ride down.
Absolutely.
Do it in the afternoon or late evening, because sometimes it's not only a walk-on, but maybe a 5 to 10 minute wait rather than a 40-minute wait. It's just, sometimes those times where don't match up because more people are in the countries. And that really goes for any of the attractions at Epcot.
Maybe not do the Future World, just go right to the countries.
Exactly. Well, a lot of people do go to the countries late night dinner, but at Future World, there's almost nobody in Future World when Soarin' might be a 20-minute wait rather than a 60+ minute wait.
Yeah,
for all the rides.
Fun tip from Ryan. Back to March Madness.
It's a hot tip.
A hot tip. Sorry,
it's a hot tip. We're gonna have a section called "Hot Tip"
by an ugly guy. Oh.
So,
I need a verdict from you.
because Epcot means a lot to me, with Walt's vision and this huge, massive golf ball thing, the geodesic sphere, wins it for this one.
All right. Let's put it on the board.
Let's put Haunted Mansion to rest.
Putting in its final
Resting place.
resting place.
In the
burial. We're going to burn it. What?
Okay.
All right. So here we are, the final, started the journey a month ago. Well, I mean, not exactly, but
like 3 weeks ago.
yeah. But still, we had 64 attractions.
Now we're down to 2.
Now we're down to 2 attractions, and it literally is decided just from me and you. Like that's scary. I don't like this power. I mean, it literally means nothing, but I don't like this power.
Let's recap how they got here.
Each one. All right, I'll do Splash Mountain since it's on my side of the
Start
board.
from the beginning.
I gotta find it.
Take your finger.
So the first round, Splash Mountain was up against Primeval Whirl. And I'm sure that was just a blowout. Too bad we didn't record that or listen to it. So I don't remember. It moved on to go against Living with the Land.
Tough but clear.
Yeah. Still Splash Mountain. And then up against Dumbo the Flying Elephant in
round
3. So it really didn't have hard ones. It had ones at a discussion, like Living with the Land and Dumbo the Flying Elephant were definitely discussion based, but I feel like if you just had one good point to Splash Mountain, you're just like, oh, okay, Splash Mountain.
Right.
Until we got to the quarterfinals, which is Splash Mountain and Soarin', and then you know how it all goes from there. But I feel like Splash Mountain kind of maybe got off easy with the matchups that it had until the quarterfinals.
Yeah. No, even though it went up some, iconic other attractions, the thrill factor of the ride, a log flume ride, all the audio animatronics and everything else, just kind of went up against it, and for it.
Yeah, and then the complete opposite happened with...
Yeah, the complete opposite. So
Spaceship
Earth. So if we go all the way back to round 1, it went up against Seven Doors Mine Train.
That's a hard matchup right away.
Seven Doors Mine Train lost.
Probably.
Even though, yes, it is a new attraction, the wait times are very, very long for it. It is a must-do if you have never done it. But at least for us, loving Disney so much, having Spaceship Earth in the finals makes sense.
Yeah.
At least to me.
Well, Seven Doors Mine Train isn't worth the wait almost.
I mean, otherwise I wouldn't have a retro Epcot symbol tattooed to my left arm.
That's right.
So it's really, really interesting. So, and then in round 2, went up against the Kilimanjaro Safaris at Animal Kingdom.
Again, another hard one.
Another
one that is a must-do.
Yeah, absolutely. But again, that kind of iconic kept with it. And then in round 3, went up against Slinky Dog Dash. And you not going on Slinky Dog Dash yet, but at least seeing all the pictures now.
And seeing how the paint is chipping and how they had to remove his tail.
Remove the tail. And then I think just a couple weeks ago, Slinky Dog's eye popped out.
That's incredible.
So it won up against Slinky Dog Dash, which, again, that iconic, history with it moves on. Quarterfinals.
Yeah, quarterfinals.
It went up against Toy Story Mania. Tough decision.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Again. The nostalgia aspect, I think, won.
It lost to basically all of Toy Story Land.
Yeah, pretty much.
which is fun. And then it just lost to Haunted Mansion. We just talked about that. So here it is. And, kind of going through that history, it's kind of funny because how much history do you have with Splash Mountain, right? A lot.
Yeah.
Right? And you love Splash Mountain, the attraction.
Absolutely.
On my side, look how much I love Epcot.
Yeah.
Look how much I
don't have a tattoo of Splash Mountain, though. Or Magic Kingdom. Not yet.
But, I really enjoy Epcot, the whole message behind Epcot, even from Walt's, what he wanted for Epcot to now what it is. Spaceship Earth is that iconic Epcot ride that, out of all of the iconic, things when you think of the Magic Kingdom, you can actually go into, the big geodesic sphere, the ball itself. So it's kind of funny how we're both up against here, and that's am I wrong for saying that?
Absolutely,
We're definitely going to be fighting for.
Well, before we start fighting, we're let's actually let's go through the research. Right, I'll do Splash Mountain since that's kind of on like my side, my half of the board, and you can do Spaceship Earth.
All right.
And you can fun fact.
Go ahead.
So Splash Mountain has actually been referenced in TV shows. American Dad, American Housewife, and The Simpsons all have had references to it. So that's pretty interesting. Now, The Simpsons reference isn't the best reference. It is, they reference Flash Mountain, which I didn't know was a thing, which apparently is when women expose themselves on the final drop because of the picture. So that's not family oriented. Anyway, there is 965,000 gallons of water that flow through the ride. So that's a lot. It was created by Tony Baxter, and that name probably doesn't mean anything to anyone, but Tony Baxter is also the man who came up with Big Thunder Mountain Railroad, Star Tours, and Journey into Imagination. So he's definitely worked on a lot of rides. He actually came up with Splash Mountain when he was sitting in traffic. So the next time you're sitting in an hour commute, maybe you can come up with the next Disney attraction. Probably not. And then the last fun fact, we kind of already talked about it twice, but it holds the largest animated props in all 4 parks. And it is that boat in the final scene, which is 22 feet high and 36 feet wide. So that is definitely a zippity-doo-dah day. That was a bad pun.
So a lot of the things we've talked about with Spaceship Earth, it took 26 months to build, which crazy. It's like they had to have the idea before they even came to, after the first year. By the time they were halfway done, they still had another year and a couple months to go forward, which is absolutely awesome. And especially for this time, a crazy feat.
Yeah,
to feat,
absolutely.
For it. What else do you have here? More people ride Spaceship Earth than any other Walt Disney World attraction. It gets more visitors than any other single theme park attraction on the planet.
That's pretty impressive. That's incredible to do.
Yeah. 16-minute journey through time.
Someone will get that joke.
Someone. And it's funny because you do have this that you may recognize some of the audio animatronics because, yes, they actually used the molds for Hall of Presidents, and actually some of them, there's speculation still that, oh, yeah, this person is that person, that some of them in the Renaissance scene, I think it might be the woman that with the guy who's playing kind of like the violin is also a mold that they used in
Pirates.
No, in Carousel Progress.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then absolutely that they've used some of the molds from the Hall of Presidents, just because again, it used so many audio animatronics.
If you go to YouTube and look it up, they'll actually go through a couple of them and tell you which president is which character, which is kind of interesting.
And the boy selling the papers, yes, he does have a face. There are pictures
of his face.
I
think it's actually Ronald Reagan. I might be making that up, but I think in the video he's like Ronald Reagan. I don't know. Anyway,
all I know is that he has a face. It's 150,000 square feet. But
That's
still,
big.
yeah, but still not the largest thing in Epcot.
What?
Funny enough, yeah, you're like, what? What's the biggest thing in Epcot? So actually, the Seas Pavilion is actually the largest attraction in the park. The
But
entire
Ryan, that's not a big attraction. That's just a small Omni mover.
anyway,
I'm just trying
the
to set up-
entirety of Spaceship Earth could actually fit inside the tank at the Seas, which is crazy to think that how big that tank really must be at the Seas Pavilion.
Well, with it's like kind of like almost Animal Kingdom, where you can fit all 4 parks in Animal Kingdom and still have a little bit of room left.
Yeah, it's huge.
Yeah. Anyways,
Fun fact: the cast members actually used to turn the cars manually at the top of the attraction, and then of course that became kind of automated that the vehicles move on their own. Kind of cool. Water. This one I actually really do like. That water almost never drips off the sphere. So if it's raining and it's raining really hard, the best place for you to stand is underneath the ball. Excuse me, because there's actually it has a drainage system in it that kind of like vacuums the water in and then channels under the ground to the World Showcase Lagoon, which is really cool. That not only did they build this huge massive sphere, they put an attraction in it, and now it collects rainwater to fill the lagoon there, which is just like, oh wow, what else can they do with it?
yeah.
For me, Spaceship Earth is considered the world's first geodesic sphere and is also known as the largest freestanding sphere in the world.
Yeah, this is the one we kind of already talked about.
That we talked about. But, all of that together, that the world's first geodesic sphere, that it is absolutely huge at 180 feet tall. 26 months to build. Back in 1980, when they were like, what? You want to build that? How are you going to build that?
Right. Well, they didn't have the computers that they had today. So a lot of it probably had to be drawn out, had to be calculated by hand. I'm sure they probably had some sort of calculators to help them with the big numbers.
Yeah, absolutely.
But they couldn't type this all up into a blueprint and print it out and hand mass copies too. So,
yeah.
It's impressive.
Just to me, and that's why you had that at the top of your sheet that is the world's first geodesic sphere, freestanding sphere in the world. I read that last because I think that's the most important.
Yeah.
Because when the park first opened, that was how in the heck did they do that? How did they build this massive structure? It took 26 months, but. It'll probably be. I wonder how long it would take today. With the modern technology that we have today.
Yeah, well, it wouldn't take too long because when they paint, they would just get really cheap paint and everything would chip within a month.
A budget cut. And again, though, that was the thing with Spaceship Earth that budgets weren't necessarily, I guess,
millions and trillions of dollars that they're spending now.
A thing that they were worried about. They were like, we're going to build this thing. If it puts us another billion in debt, it's going to pay off. Not like, I guess what they're doing now with Toy Story Land. Like, let's just open something else before, Star Wars Galaxy's Edge open. To do a recap, because did we talk about the point sheet for these two attractions yet?
I'm sure at some point. Yeah, I know we talked about Splash Mountain.
So go ahead and take.
Can we do Splash Mountain?
Yeah.
All right. So it's in Magic Kingdom, so it automatically gets 4 points. And then I gave it a 3 for rewritability and 3 for family oriented.
So Splash 2 rewritability, 4 because it's in Magic Kingdom, and 2 for family oriented.
Right. And then Spaceship Earth. Right. You can do this one.
Spaceship Earth 2 for rewritability, 3 because it's in Epcot, and family oriented 3 because everybody can ride it.
Right. So, and I gave it 3s across the board as well. So actually the average for Spaceship Earth is an 8.5, while Splash Mountain is 9. So I mean, it's definitely that close.
Yeah,
it's definitely half a point difference. And really, the probably the biggest point is that since it's in Epcot, it loses a point. If it was in Magic Kingdom,
exactly,
it would be 9.5 or even 9. So it's they're definitely too close attractions.
It's like you can't even use the point sheet
anymore.
For this because of that. You know, again, I'm still sticking with my gut for Spaceship Earth. You know, if we had tickets again right now and we picked one attraction, of course, well, it's nighttime now while we're recording, but you know, even if it was during the day and you said, yeah, you could go right now to Walt Disney World, pick one attraction, I'd pick Spaceship Earth, you know, not only because then I get to see Epcot and even just walking into the front of Epcot. And, you know, I know we're just talking about attractions here, but the attraction is in such an iconic, I keep calling it a thing. I'm trying to think of the word, like an iconic, like
attraction.
Yeah, you know, but not only is it the attraction, it's the icon for the whole entire park.
Great.
You know, that you get that feeling of, you know, at least for me, I walk in and get that feeling of, well, this is cool. Like, you know, I feel like the 80s, I guess is what I'm trying to say. That very, very retro feel of that. And that's what I love about Epcot. That's what I love about, you know, the Epcot Ball and Spaceship Earth and the whole attraction.
Yeah. As much as I love Splash Mountain, I'm going to have to go Spaceship Earth on this. Just because it is such an icon. The music's fantastic. All of the animatronics are fantastic. The storytelling is fantastic. I'm sad to see it be closed for 2 years coming up, but I'm very excited to see what they do with it and when it opens.
Absolutely.
It's a ride that already amazes me, right? Like I was kind of talking about earlier. When you get to the top and look at the Earth, you get that wow factor. And you know, you just have this like, oh, wow, look at this. Oh, then look at this during the ride right now. So having this refurbishment for 2 years where they're just going to do who knows what is just...
It's a big question mark. And it's like you're worried, but at the same time, you're very much like, oh, I can't wait to see what they, you know, do with this attraction next because it's already an icon. All right.
So there you have it. Out of 64 attractions, out of all of Walt Disney World, Spaceship Earth is our champion. Spaceship Earth is what we consider to be the best attraction at Walt Disney World.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Did you think that's how it was going to go down?
No. I mean, because, you know, you have the new rides with Flight of Passage, you know, Frozen Ever After, you know, rides like that, but it all comes down to the nostalgia. It all comes down to how does Disney make you feel in this ride.
Totally, yeah. I mean, you can quote things from it.
You can quote the music from it. I mean, not really quote the music, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, absolutely. You can listen to it. I'm excited for the future of this ride. I guess more than any of the others because, you know, they can improve this ride. Not like, yes, it does need some love, but
like it's already a great ride.
But the only thing they can do, unless they completely just butcher it, which I highly doubt they're going to, because it's such an icon, because it's in an icon.
My only argument to that is the auction scene for Pirates of the Caribbean. They did not do a great job with that.
Yeah, no, I know. But that was more of a time movement type of decision.
I understand.
You know, this is let's update it because it's an icon to the park.
And it
deserves it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That's exactly what that update was.
Yeah. Yeah. But, I mean, how this whole thing went, not how I thought.
No, but I'm not upset. I'm happy that Spaceship Earth is our winner.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm definitely going to listen to the soundtrack tonight.
You know, all in all, I mean, really, down to the quarterfinal, down to the semifinal, it all came down to our deciding factor of, you know, how do we connect with the attraction? What's the past with the attraction like? You know, if you've never been to Disney World, your list isn't necessarily going, your bracket isn't going to look like ours. You know, maybe if you're kind of in the middle, yeah, you've been to Disney 10 times, you like it, versus where we go
every other year, if not more.
Yeah, even as kids, we went, sometimes 2-3 times a year.
Yeah.
We were fortunate enough to do that. And that's what built most of these memories for these attractions.
But to kind of point that, just because your bracket looks different, you may had a different winner, that doesn't necessarily mean you're wrong. I think that's the best thing about Disney, is that we can have this conversation about what attraction is the best attraction. That the fact that Disney does something so well that it gets people talking about it outside. You couldn't walk down the street and ask somebody, what's your favorite attraction at Six Flags? They would have no idea.
Where's the Six Flags at?
Right. But you say, what's your favorite attraction at Walt Disney World? You'll get an answer. It may not be the answer that you have, but you'll get an answer. And I think that's impressive.
Yeah, and then not only does it then build off the attraction, it builds into everything else that you start talking about, with Disney and the Disney name attached to it. Any final thoughts for real?
No, I'm happy.
I know.
I'm happy. I'm sad that some attractions lost, but I'm happy to see the winner.
Yeah.
And congratulations to Space Mountain, I guess.
Congratulations.
It gets, something.
You can call us to pick up your award. We will ship it out. It takes 7 to 10 business days to get there. But just please give us a call, and we'll send your winning trophy out, Spaceship Earth. So if you enjoyed this episode, please leave us a review, as it helps us improve the show. And as always, be sure to subscribe to our podcast and follow us on Facebook. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.